Hi, 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 hi. Welcome to Candid Conversations, Season 2, Episode 1. If y'all cannot tell, your girl is excited. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Welcome to everybody who is here, who is new, and welcome back to those of you who are joining us for the very first time. This is now your butterfly family, okay? Candid Conversations is a safe space to candidly discuss topics, experiences, and to share resources and advice with those who join. We will feature special guests who take us through their journeys and also share resources and or what to expect from them coming up. Today's special guest, I'm so excited about. Her name is Candace Clark. Y'all saw her beautiful picture on the flyer that has been circulating. I am so excited to feature this special guest today. She's somebody who's near and dear to my heart. She is my sister. She's also a wellness and mental health advocate. Candace is also an early childhood Shero. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring Candace in the room. Welcome, Candace. Y'all give Candace some butterflies in the chat to welcome her in. We are so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you. Um, let's go ahead. You can introduce yourself to the people. You can tell them what tell them about you, and then we're gonna dive right on into the chat. Oh, I think you're muted. So I can't hear you, but I don't know if our guests can hear you. Butterflies, can you hear Candace? Let us know. It's okay. We're gonna get this tech thing be doing what it want to do. So it is okay. You might have to actually click the settings, the little three dots on the right, and then hit edit mic settings and make sure that the microphone is coming from whatever the device you're using. I see it says no, we can't. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. So you see on your picture below in the mic settings. All right. Okay, no worries, no worries. So we're gonna let Candace get her mic situated. But today we are talking about empowerment for your wellness journey. I am so excited. Yes, yes, flashy Nigerian technology is not perfect. And we are patient. I love y'all for being patient. Thank y'all so much. This today's topic is empowerment for your wellness journey. All of us are on wellness journeys. Every single one of us are. And I think it's just so important to have a safe space to come and like talk about like what is your journey, what are your struggles, what resources are you using, what resources can I share that I'm using, etc. And like we can do that together in this safe space, especially in what better month than Women Empowerment Month, like Women's History Month. Hello. So today we got Candace back.
Can you hear me?
Girl, we can hear you.
What
We
I say, I said, never fails. Technology will always, no matter how much prepping, no matter how much work you do prior to moment of, it will always fail you. But the biggest thing is to keep a smile on your face and keep
That's right.
going.
That's
Keep
right.
going, which is what we're
We
talking about today.
When I say we prepped, but it's all good. It's all good. So Candace, tell the people about yourself. Tell them like, yeah, just introduce yourself.
God, it's okay. That's always the hard part, right? You can
Yeah.
introduce somebody else, but when you're talking about yourself, it's like, what do you really say?
Well, we
Well, I am
sniping
Ken,
back today.
right? I'm Candace Clark. I am a mental health advocate. I am an early childhood educator, been in the field over 12 years. Started off as an assistant teacher, went to teaching, and then I stepped out into did half in the room, half of leadership, was an assistant director, and now I'm the director for my facility. Outside of work, I enjoy bowling, painting, obviously now working out. I have like my own like little things that I really enjoy doing, but the biggest thing that I would honestly say is God and church. I was born and raised in the church, come from Church of God in Christ background, grandparents, pastor, and first lady. Grew up in church, and my brother now, who used to play church, we played church, is now actually a pastor, and he's my pastor.
Yes.
So that's a little bit about myself, but I'm so excited to be here. I met Miss Kira in college, freshman year, Sister Act, the Benedict College Gospel Choir. And then we ended up joining Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the best sorority
The best.
on this planet. Just the FYI plug, shameless plug here. Don't matter, don't mind the blue right here. Just know my heart still always and will bleed pink and green.
That's right.
But just being able to have like that bond and relationship has brought us to here today. So thank you for having me as a guest. I'm so excited to be here.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here. So, what we're going to do, we're going to dive on into the chat. The segment that we are rolling into is just let's chat. During the let's chat segment, I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to have some dialogue and open up the floor between the two of us to just discuss the things that centers around the topic today, empowerment for your wellness journey. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all ready? Butterflies who are tuned in, y'all ready? Let's put some butterflies in there. Y'all look quiet. I see some yays. I see some yes. Yes. Okay, I love it. I love it. So the first question, Candace, that I have for you is, what word comes to mind when you think about wellness?
A word that comes to mind when I think about wellness is wholeness. It's like
Okay.
wholeness. So a lot of times what people have seen, like now what they associate with me is because obviously I am on a wellness journey. I don't even call it a health or weight loss journey. This is a wellness journey because I'm taking the whole self into consideration. I'm taking mental, social, emotional, spiritual, all of those things come into my mind when I think about wellness. And that one word, wholeness, is because a lot of times we are going into relationships, friendships, partnerships, half. We're
Yeah.
half filled instead of being whole. So
You're
when
too early for you to start
I
preaching now.
I'm
What?
just saying.
That was a word. Somebody put that in the chat.
I'm just
Sometimes we
saying.
go into relationships or situationships or workships half, and
Yeah.
the goal is to be whole. Ugh. Let's
Yes.
put a pin in that. Let's put that on the shelf. Let's put that on the shelf. So, how has wholeness played a role in your journey?
In my journey, so I have always been a person that has shied away from big crowds. I've always been a person who just kind of likes to be to myself, but I will do any and everything for anyone around me, especially those that are close to me, family, friends. And one thing that I realize is that when I first started working out, or when I first started, my intended goal was to simply lose weight. I was
Yeah.
tired of the way I looked. I wanted to lose weight. I was tired of paying so much money for clothes because it seemed like as soon as you go over extra, as soon as you go over large, your clothes are more expensive. They're more, especially for quality. I mean, I didn't want to look like a grandma. I was like,
That part. And you ain't never looked like no grandma to me, baby.
listen, grandma, the floral animal prints. Come on now. There's so much more, so
Yeah.
much more. But that was my first intent going in, was to simply lose weight. And guess what I
Yes.
did? I lost the weight. No problem. But guess what? Body dysmorphia is real. Mental health is real. So when I got sad, when I got depressed, what did I do? Either I would not eat for 3 or 4 days, and then I would binge eat, or I'll stay up. I stopped working out because I'm like, well, I've already lost the weight. And so then the weight would come back. The depression was there. And I realized in that moment that it's not, you can't just start at the physical aspect of things. It
Yeah.
starts mentally. It's when you make up in your mind that this is something, that a goal, that I want to reach. How do I reach it? Well, I have to reach it first in my mind. I have to create a plan. I have to write the vision. I have to make it plain, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's so complex in my mind. And I know a lot of times we talk about our signs and things of that nature. It's like, oh, Virgos are very complex creatures, and they overthink, and they always feel like they got to be right, or that they are right. And
Yeah.
so in my mind, I had so many things that was jumbled up. And I'm like, well, I can't do this until I do this. I can't do this until I do this. So I equated a lot of my emotions. I equate a lot of my mentalness on one thing, physical. Well, if I looked better, then I would feel better. If I lost the weight, then I would be more appealing to men. And let's be clear. My face card ain't never declined.
Never.
I've
Period.
always
Period.
had. But when you're going through and
Yeah.
when it is mentally, what
Yeah.
it's like a film. It's like a thick film that is covering your eyes and your mind. And
Yeah.
so have you ever seen those people that are inspirational and they're speaking life, and you got some people that are just like, yeah, and they're absorbing it, right? And they
Mhm.
believe in it. And then you got those that are like, that sound good. That may work for
Mhm.
you, because they have a film, because it's a mental block. And
Mhm.
so for me, when I started looking at my journey, I'm like, I have to mentally break through some things. I have to mentally lose some of these things that I've built and set on high platforms.
Yeah, that's so man. I have to mentally lose some of the things that I've built and sat on these high platforms. That just like I got like a little bit of goosebumps on
Yeah.
my arm just now when you said that, because I literally feel like that's the space that I'm in. Like I feel like that is the exact space that I'm in. Like I've built so much of my self-worth and so much of my confidence on outside things that really should have no bearing, right?
Right.
Outside things that really is like, girl, they gonna ebb and flow. So
Yep.
every single time that ebbs and flows, how you feel about yourself is gonna ebb and flow too. No, man, we're not doing that in this season. It's time
Man.
to keep moving forward. So yeah, no, that spoke
Yeah.
a word to me. That
Yeah.
was good. That was real good. That
And
was
I love how you said moving forward, because
yeah,
it's like that was one of the things. It's a Jessica Reedy song. Like,
yes,
not looking back, moving forward.
yes,
And for a while, I was just caught up on the number 4, because obviously I am a quad.
yes.
And so naturally, anything, I'm like, my name is the Foreseer. Because
Mhm.
there's a lot of things, like when you sit back and kind of reevaluate things, it's like, okay, how many times you gonna keep going back to that thought?
Yeah.
How many times are you gonna keep replaying that same narrative, but think that you're supposed to be in a different space? If you keep feeding your mind the same thing, I'm not gonna be able to do it because of this. Because I remember when, okay, I remember we remember when, but what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Like when it hurts to look back, and it's like, just like be present in the moment, because
Mhm.
a lot of times when we're not, it's so easy to stop. It's
Yes.
so easy to get stuck where we
Mhm.
are, because it's just like, well, I guess this is where. But when you look back over your life, and I'm a spiritual person, so please forgive
Be
me.
yourself. Be yourself. You don't need
But
to caveat it. We
yeah.
here for it.
But when I look back over my life and I think things over, like when I look back at my depressed days, my sad days, my down days, when
Yeah.
I wouldn't even open up or speak on these things, right? And I look back from where I came from to now, come on. When I look at what God has done in my life, how he's covered me, how he's sent people in seasons that were so necessary. Like,
Absolutely.
it was so necessary. Like the things that I had to go through, I met people along the way, and those people were just like those pillars. So when I couldn't see the light, they were the light, and
Yeah.
they showed me the light. And when I couldn't remember my worth, they spoke life into me,
Mhm.
because we
That's
talk about life and death lies in the power of the tongue.
it is like something you just said, like the whole thing, everything that you said. What's coming up for me is isolation has its moments, and isolation there's some beautiful parts and beautiful lessons that we learn about ourselves in isolation, but it's important that even in our isolation we use discernment, because if we isolate ourselves and we know that we're in, let's say, a dark place, I know I can relate to being in a dark place. You've spoken about you relating to being in a dark place. When we were in those dark places, we weren't necessarily being our light. Like we weren't showing our light. We didn't feel our light. But as you so eloquently stated, like there were people who would come in and like remind you of your light. If you and I remember a time where you isolated yourself completely and totally and thought that nobody could get to you, baby. But we ain't
Oh
gonna
my
talk
God.
about that today. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful to be connected to people. And it's so beautiful to be connected to people who are called and connected to what's on the inside of you. Because I know about myself,
Yeah.
there's so many connections that I have that I gained in college, that I gained in high school, that I gained at work. That's like, all right, we weren't the tightest, but like
Yeah.
it's something in you. You were always kind. You were always like inviting. You were always like pouring into me. You were always compassionate. And like I saw something the other day that was like people often forget what you say, but they never forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
And so in our periods of isolation, I just want to like say to the butterfly garden here, like, y'all, don't always shy away from people in your moments of despair, in your moments of needing community, in your moments of, I don't know how I'm going to go on, or I ain't got a positive word to give today. God
Mhm.
didn't put us here on this earth for us to be by ourselves. And I know for some people who may be in like tough spots, that might be hard to hear or digest right now, but it's truth. That doesn't always necessarily mean that it comes in the form of a relationship, but it can also come in the form of friendliness. It can
Mhm.
come in the form of conversation. It can come in the form of companionship, yes, but it can also come in the form of just saying hi to people or just allowing people to love on you. You don't always have to go through life alone. Hyper independence be
Oof.
sniping us up out of
Ah,
things and places that God want us to be and go. Don't
that's
be
a whole
so
word right there.
consumed in what you want to do and what you feel like you could do by yourself. And it's like, oh, I don't need nobody help. I could do it by myself. No, you cannot. I mean, you can. You can. That's a lie. You can do it by yourself.
But you're
But
gonna be tired.
at
You're
what
gonna
cost?
burn out.
Hello?
You're gonna be
Hello?
tired. You're gonna burn out. I can honestly say hyper independence is something. I am truly one of those that I'm a giver. I
Yeah.
just naturally give. I just naturally do. I don't need to be in the spotlight. I don't need a title to do that. It's just in me. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I had to learn, I already knew. I have a hard time with receiving, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, no, I got no, you good. Like people want to buy me, no, I'm okay, or
Yeah.
they, want to do something. No, 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 I got it. But I'm so quick and easy to do for others, and it's like in that season of isolation, when I, was first like trying to figure out what was happening, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
even know what's wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
so you get embarrassed, right? Because you're just like, I'm worrying about something that I don't even know what's wrong, but I can't really express it. And then I don't really want to talk about it because what is there to talk about? So now I'm saying to myself, and I'm trying to explain to my friends and to every my family, like, it's not you, it's me. But nobody really understands or believes that, because it's like, well, nah, maybe you just don't want to tell me, like, if I offended you or if I did something. I'm like, no, it's really me. It's
Right.
me trying to process, and I don't believe in bleeding on others. I
Yeah.
don't believe in taking something out. If you ever want to see me get upset, that is one, mess with anybody in my family, especially my ride or die, my brother. But two, bleed on somebody else when it has nothing to do with them. I all of a sudden, that advocate, that warrior, it rises up in me, and I'm ready to defend, because it's just like, that's not fair. It's
Can
not
I
fair.
offer you a different perspective?
Yeah.
So if your family and your friends if you feel like they're worthy of your advice, if you feel like they have the space for you or you have the space for them in your up, what is it in you that questions whether or not they will have that same space for you in your down?
It's a good question.
And so
Mhm.
you don't have to necessarily answer it right now, but that's something that I want to like kind of put out there. Not
Yeah.
just for you, it's for me too. It's something I only have the question because it's something I have to consistently ask myself, right? As a giver as well, as somebody who continues to pour and pour and pour, I found myself in my dark season, like isolating. I found myself in my dark season, like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to tell nobody what's happening because of shame,
Yeah.
because of feeling embarrassed, because of all these what ifs.
But
But
see, that's your answer.
hold- if I can hold space for them and they can hold space for me when I'm
Yeah.
good, they can also hold space for me when I'm not good.
Yeah.
And there can be such a beauty and transparency that can be done and shared between your safe space. I'm not saying y'all go out there and talk to everybody, but I am saying amongst your safe space, there's a beauty in healing and conversation, and there's healing in just getting it out. And don't look at it as bleeding on them. It's just you're my village. And a part of my village, I need your help right now. And I may not need your help all the time. There
Yeah.
may be moments where you can lean on me too. But in this moment, I need my girl. I need
Yeah.
my mama. I need my daddy. I need my boo. Like whatever it
Yeah.
is, I need you. And that is okay. It's okay to be needy. It's okay to be needy. That is a lie from
Yeah.
whoever said that it's not okay to be needy. That's a lie from the enemy. That is a lie. It is okay to have needs. It is okay to be needy. And it is okay to know what you need. And it's also okay to know what you don't need, or to know you need something and not always be able to pinpoint what you need.
That's where I was. I didn't know what I needed because I didn't know what was wrong. And because a lot of times when you are going through that season, at least when I was, it's like, I don't know what's wrong. And how
Mhm.
can I have someone help me with something that is not like, here's my problem,
Yeah,
give
yeah,
me a
yeah.
solution. It's like, I don't know. Today I woke up and I just felt blah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to lay in bed all day. I just wanted to cry. I just wanted to disappear from my world and jump into another world. So I used
Yeah.
to binge watch shows like Grey's Anatomy. At that time, I think had like 12 seasons or something. And literally, I to disappear from my world. And when I say disappear from my world, is because I'm comfortable and I'm safe enough to say that I am a 3-time suicide attempt survivor. I promised my parents the last time, like, you know what, like, because everyone's here in Chicago, all my family, and I'm out in Charlotte, I would never want them to have to get that call,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Never.
Mhm.
And I and
But
the
we are
fact of the
blessed
matter
that you are
is,
still here. Let me say that. Okay.
yeah,
There's a purpose and a plan for your life, and you know that. You know that.
yeah.
Um, but it's a beautiful thing that you're still here. So
Mm.
thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. But continue.
Yeah, and that's why, right? Because a lot of times when people stop on their journeys, is because they're looking at other people journeys or online, and the first thing is, all you see, if all someone is showing you the highlighted reels of their life, they
Mm,
never show you when they're down, and they never show you what struggles that they had to get to, and it just makes it seem like everything that they do is just like, I go from here to there, A to B,
mm.
and there's no in between, there's no stops, there's no pauses, there's no hurdles that they have to get over. It's like, well, dang, like, I must be doing something wrong. It must
Absolutely.
be something wrong with me. And
Mhm.
so for me, it's like, when I came out of isolation, I learned that I had a mood disorder, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was the winter blues because, it happened during the winter season. And they say, like, you don't get the time changes, you need more vitamin D, your serotonin levels drop, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so that first year, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to go outside more. I got an LED light, I got medication. You go and you do all of those things. I'm like, but did I actually really take the time to sit down with myself?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's like you're trying to reach at grabs, and that's another reason why a lot of people journeys stop, or just start and stop and don't start back up, is because you're trying out everyone else's, and what you fail to realize is everyone's journey is their own. yes, I can look at something and say, you know what? Let me try that and see.
Yeah.
Right? If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. And sometimes you may have to take it and modify it to what may works best, what may work best for you. I
Yeah.
got a friend, she's an early morning workout person. I don't see how I used to do it, and I used to like that's how I started. Like, oh, we get these 5 a.m.s before I go to the job and blah blah blah. And after a while, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm tired. My
This
mood
ain't it.
my mood has shifted. I'm not enjoying this. It's actually a
Yeah.
chore to
Yeah.
get up. And now a lot of people who may be on here that may see or follow my journey, y'all see I'm in the gym at like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, and I'm in my best zone. The day has been work has been completed. I'm like decompressing from the day, from my personal life, from my work life, and
Yeah.
I'm literally like in my zone.
Mhm.
Working out is no longer a chore. It's not a punishment. It's like, oh my God, like I can't wait to go just that
Yeah.
release. Other people release maybe if it's the guys, if they going to play ball with their boys, right? Running up and down the court is their thing. Some
Yeah.
girls retail therapy, right? Getting that self-care, getting your hair done, nail done. You have to find what are the things that you simply find the joys and pleasure in. And I
I
love how you said opening up and talking to someone, right? Like you
Mhm.
that can be someone close to you. But I'm not afraid to say that I love Jesus. I love God. I'm born and raised in the church, go to church, but I also have a therapist. And baby, do she hear me every week. Every week.
Okay. Honey, I might send this to my therapist. Shout outs to Carmen. Like,
No, seriously, like every
yes.
week. And I'm talking to her. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I found myself in a space where it was just like, man, I keep feeling like I want to, yeah, that feels like I could just, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I doing that? Because I'm allowing other circumstances, other situations, people's feelings and thoughts to make me feel. And I'm like, no, but these are my feelings. These are my thoughts.
Facts.
And I literally said, I'm like, you know what? From now on, the only time you will catch me acting out of character is if I'm starring in a play.
Whoa. Say that again.
The
What?
the only time you will catch me acting out of character is if I'm starring in a play.
That's good.
That's the only time.
That's good.
Because a lot of times you find yourself
Hmm.
taking on other people's things, other people's thoughts, other people's emotions. Like, have you ever been somewhere and it's like the whole crowd riled up? And then you come and you like listen to actually what's happening because you wasn't there when it initially happened. So your reaction and your emotions aren't built or based around what the majority is feeling. And it's
Hmm.
like, but guys, what about you? You may have a different perspective. And when you said that, like, hmm, well, now that I think about it, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
me, because you're listening to someone else, you're going off of their adrenaline.
That's so good. So, what I, man, Candace, I wish we had longer than an hour. I really do. Like, so I heard a few nuggets, okay? And by way of the butterfly garden, baby, they got a few nuggets as well. Um, so what I heard you say is you gave us your journey. You gave us the beautifulness of your journey. How you did also at one point you stopped and you started and you stopped and you started, and it's like for you wellness started out initially only being about the weight, and then you transition from like, okay, wait a minute, like I've proven to myself, bump other people, I've proven to myself I can lose the weight, but even when I lose the weight I still don't feel like my best self. I
Yep.
still don't feel empowered. So it, what I also heard you say was in finding that out, you had to go through a season of isolation. You went through your season of depression. You went through your season of feeling down on yourself, but also purging is what it sounded like to me, kind of purging and unlearning the things that you put so much on a pedestal to
Yep.
equate your worth or to equate your wellness.
Yep.
And I think that's freaking beautiful.
The
I
journey.
think it's beautiful. And I also heard you say create your own path. Like your journey to wellness and your journey while you're on wellness is not your journey to wholeness and wellness is what I would rather say. It's not going to look like somebody else's.
Mm-mm.
And you can ask for advice. You can even like see like all these gurus, you know, who are like, we made this a living. But what you don't see is the in between. Start, success. The
Exactly.
in between matters, y'all.
That's
And
the ugly part.
that in between is ugly. That
That's
in
where the
between
real
is
healing
ugly.
takes place. And
Absolutely.
I wish that we would stop glamorizing healing. Healing
Yes.
is far from, if you look, I was in a 6-car accident and
Mhm.
I had no broken bones or anything like that. I just had some scars, right? And as
Yeah.
I kept looking over, I'm like, ah. And I remember I would like try to hide them. I'm like, it looks so ugly. The
Mm.
healing, the scabs, it's like I wanted to, but every time I would
It
just be
get
fine.
itchy. It gets uncomfortable. You start putting
Exactly.
it on. It is not pretty. It is not pretty. I also loved what you said about being transparent. And it's something that, like, I'm just a transparent person. Like, people in the butterfly garden, if you know me personally, you know that I'm gonna just well.
That's how
But
we
I've
connected in
learned
college.
exactly,
Now, Shakira,
exactly,
let me get this in. Shakira told me about myself, and
girl.
she didn't even remember that she did it. I was not one of those who had many female friends and all of that. So, like being a part of a sorority, I was like, oh my god, it's so many of them. It's so many different personalities. I roll with the boys. I
Yeah.
am a tomboy at heart, and there was something happened, and I broke girl code. Who knew, right? Because I don't do this. Shakira, Shakira pulled me into the dorm room and she sat me down. She's like, if I didn't love you, I would not be having this conversation with you. We would not be friends. We would just be sorority sisters. That's it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is real. And when I tell you the love, it was like you got me together in a way that helped me learn and realize that it really is one of those things that to take into consideration. A lot of times we don't consider what's on the other side of our actions, what's on the other side of, and I was in that stage of, I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna say how I
Yeah.
feel. And if you like it, great. If not, oh well. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. And things that I worked through, but Shakira really did allow like her vulnerableness, because she could have just walked away. And she was like, I didn't just cut you off, because I know I was going through a stage where I just cut people off. And I'm like, no, you didn't. And for that, I'm forever grateful because it allowed me to learn from it. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was a little salty, and I'm like, I don't even understand all these friendship rules. Like, help me. Like, is there a list that I can write down and go, like, so I can know, like, don't do this, Candace. Don't say that, Candace. That's not okay. But Shakira, you were so patient with me. And I look back over that and I look at how in my present world today, the relationships that I've been able to establish and maintain with women,
Yeah.
because
Feel
it's
so
International Women Month, but there's always been a stigma that women don't support women, that we down each other, we try to get one up, and I'm like, that's not true. I don't
That's
know who
not,
y'all be around, but that's not true. Like,
that is not
you allowing me space on your platform, you could have just been, this my platform, this is, I'm gonna talk about this every month, every episode or whatever. But it's like, you're like, no, like, you be candid, you share your story, and for that I thank you, because I was
oh
like, what story do I have? Like,
I thank you for just like agreeing to come. And y'all, it's so and I'm learning to like embrace compliments. So thank you. I'm gonna inhale and I'm gonna exhale. I thank you. I think it is so beautiful how when we're in connection with people at different stages of our lives, we can also learn things about ourselves that like you telling me that because you told me that the other day and I was like, girl, and it's something that though it's a reminder that I needed about that version of me then, because a part of who I was then is still who I am now. I am very much No, baby, we're gonna have to call that out. Now, what is that? What are we doing? But life has a way of tricking you out of your own identity. Life has a way of tricking you out of now you're doing too much, making you believe that like you're doing too much, making you believe that like it's just too you're too much you.
Yeah.
And no matter what type of wellness journey we are on, whether it's health, whether it's emotional, whether it's spiritual, whether it is relational, all of it is encompassing of you.
Yeah.
So, what I heard you say several times in today's conversation is like, I had to know and love me. I had to unlearn so many things about myself that were no longer and should not have ever been attached to my identity. And when I got that correct, when I got that in alignment, when I started pouring into myself and trusting that the people that God put in my path, I can trust them with my vulnerability. I
Yeah.
can trust them with my sadness and my I don't know why I'm sad. I can trust them with just holding space, but I can also trust their correction. And
Yes.
I can learn from it and be a better me. I just think it's so beautiful. Woo! What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna ask you one more question and then I'm gonna open the floor up. Butterflies in the garden. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see y'all. Thank y'all so much for all this interaction. This is amazing. I want y'all to go ahead and put some questions in the chat because Candace, I have another question for her, but I'm gonna open it up for you all to ask any question that you want to ask via the chat so that Candace or myself can answer them. We'll get to as many as possible. But Candace, what resources would you recommend for somebody who is on a wellness journey, on a wellness journey to wholeness, who starts and stops, or on a wellness who desires to be on a wellness journey and it's just like, I can't start. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. What resources would you recommend or resources that have helped you?
So I started with a podcast. I went and Sarah Jakes Roberts, like I just love her. She's very open, she's very candid, and she reminded me of myself. Like you can be born and raised in the church, but you can also still have issues and things going on. You can talk to people outside of things, and it's okay to feel how you feel, right?
Yeah.
And one thing, like it was one of her podcasts, she was like, what may be a molehill to someone else may be a mountain to you, or
Mhm.
vice versa. It doesn't matter that they may think that what you may think so big right now. If that's your mountain, that's your mountain.
Yeah.
Listening to her, and then I went into Pastor Mike McClurg. I started watching like sermons, Keon Henderson, Mike Todd. Like I really like I'm a church person, so naturally I need some of those sermons, but I'm also into singing, into songs. I'm a praise and worship leader. So songs like has helped me kind of get through some of those things, right? So knowing, that's why I keep going back. You got to know yourself. You have to
Yeah.
sit down and take time with yourself, because that season of isolation, when you feel like I should be able to call on people, and there may be some times when even the ones who you know or you feel like you should be able to call on, they may not answer. And God may have purposely did that because he wants you to focus your attention in on you. And so listening to songs, I'm a poet. So I remember back in or after college when I went through like that massive breakup and stuff, and I like literally wrote a poem
Yes,
called
you
X
did.
Factor, called X Factor, and then I wrote another one called R.I.P. to that girl, because it's a lot of times you got to kill off a lot of things, and those are some of the things. So going back, if you find a podcast, if you find even on Instagram, like if you do the explore and you type in what you're looking for, like you know what, because your needs may change. Like you know what, today I'm feeling hopeless, right?
Mm,
So I may look up some hope quotes. Like you got to know what it is that you need.
I
So
love that.
looking those up, those resources, and then you kind of find your thrive. You find those who have like those commonalities,
Mm-hmm.
and they may be at different stages. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you may have saw, like, they may be at their height, but you know that they had to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
had to start somewhere. So being able to kind of lean on others in that aspect, and they can give you resources as well. But those are definitely some of the things that I kind of like did. Everything is always in music to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever had like conversations and someone says a word and it's like you start singing a song that has the
Yes,
that has the
because I'm a
title.
musical person too, so I know I mean, and that's like a telltale sign for me that like something ain't right. Like, girl, you ain't singing around the house, you ain't blasting your music. Like, what is wrong with you? Now we gotta center. So yes, I do get messages in music, and I get messages through like um lately it's been a lot of things, but we could talk about that another time. But thank you for those resources. We got a question from one of our butterflies for both of us. What's your motivation for wellness? What is your motivation for wellness? I guess I'll go first. My motivation for wellness is me. Um, I am literally at a time in my life where I am sick of the status quo. I am sick of me being what has been holding me back from wholeness emotionally, wholeness spiritually, wholeness financially, wholeness physically. Like I I motivate me for on my wellness journey. And in my journey right now, I'm not where I want to be, child. However, I do work really hard to remember I'll come first. I'm married. I'm a dog mom. I'm an auntie.
Yeah.
I'm a god mama. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. You know what I mean? I'm a colleague. But at the beginning of every single day, I come first. So what does that look like for me? I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I know some of y'all like, what? I I wake up at 6 o'clock in
Listen.
the morning and I put God first. I get my time in with him. And then I do what I want to do for me. And then I go into my house chores, take the dog out, check on my wife, and then I can go to work for the day. But I focused on me first. And not because I'm my own motivation for wellness. I want to be my best self. What's your answer, Candace?
That was so good, Shakira. Oh my goodness. I would say for me, my motivation is my past.
Mm,
Like, a lot of times we take our past, and for some of us we use it as to why I can't.
yeah,
And for me, I use my past as to why not. And so when I look back on my past, I'm like, man, I remember where I was. I remember how it made me feel. And I don't ever want to go back to that. I don't
yes,
ever want to go back to being sad and depressed and closed off and isolated, and to the point where I just allow myself to sink into the deep, dark
yeah,
sea that I can't recover from.
yeah,
And so it keeps me motivated, right? And honestly, the physical aspect, yes, when you start, that's why it's like body dysmorphia is real. But when I keep my clothes, because it's just like my clothes, even if the scale don't look like what I feel like it should look like, I
mm-hmm.
look at my clothes and I look at the difference, and I do my side by sides, and I'm like, man. And then mentally, I think back to situations or conversations where I've gone off, where I've mishandled people, where I've misinterpreted things because of what I was dealing with mentally. And I look
Mm-hmm.
back and I'm like, the situations may reoccur or re-arrived, and I'm like, I would have done X, Y, Z back then, but I'm looking at how I'm handling the situation now, and that shows how far I've grown. Like,
Absolutely.
so for me, it's my past. It's what motivates me to keep going. And then I also know that there is somebody else out there. Like, this gift the gifts that God placed inside of us, the purpose that He has set for our lives is not our own.
That's so
And
good.
so I know that if I stop, I'm hindering somebody else's process, because I'm like that relay. It's like a tag, you're it. And
Yeah.
so if I'm not doing what I need to be doing, it's going to be harder for the next person because they're in line. I'm in line. Someone paved the way for me. Someone keeps me going. Someone keeps me motivated. You
Mm,
know? So it's
mm.
like it paves the way. It sets the standard.
You're too oily. Calm down. Calm down.
I
You're
mean,
too
man.
oily. Oh my goodness. That was so good. That was so good. We have one more question. The last question before we move on to the next segment. Girl, I'm trying to contain myself. Okay, that was good. If you could encourage your younger self based on what you know and understand now, what would you say to her?
Hmm. It won't always be like this. The Lord will perfect that concerning you. Sooner or later, turn in my favor. It's turning around for me.
I
When
love
I
it.
tell you, a lot of times you have to remind yourself where I am right now, it's not going to always be like this.
Yeah.
It's not going to always feel like this. The,
Mhm.
you have so much more. Like there's so much more. It's beyond what you can see. It's beyond what you can feel. That's why it says you got to have that faith, the faith of the size of a mustard seed. Do you not know what size of mustard seed is?
It's tiny. It's
It's
so
very
small.
tiny. It is very tiny.
It's
Having
so
that
small.
faith and knowing that, man, like what it may look like
Yeah.
the younger version of me, I would have you can't foresee that far into what will be. But
Mm-hmm.
just know, like, it's coming.
It is.
It's coming. And so if I could tell my younger self anything, it won't always be like this.
I love that.
It won't.
If I could tell myself, my younger self, anything, I would say, mm, I would say your imperfections are what make you beautiful.
Yes.
And you will find your tribe. You don't have to fit in. I know you want to, but you don't have to. You can make the path and you will find your tribe. So that's what I would tell my younger self.
I love that.
This segment has been so amazing. This episode has been so like restorative for me.
Same.
Trying to control my emotions now because I did not expect that to happen. However, um, I was talking to a friend last night and I said I was going to share this. We have 10 minutes. Instagram is disrespectful. It will cut us off right at 60 minutes. Okay. I learned from the last time, but she shared with me a quote. And the quote is, the more time you spend worrying about not doing enough, the less time you're spending actually enjoying the progress that you've already made. Pause and redirect how you're spending your thought time. You're on the right path. Keep moving forward.
Yes.
Like, that's not a quote from somebody else but her. Nyla, if you're watching, thank you. Thank you
I
so much.
love that. Please send me that quote.
I
Please send me that
absolutely
quote.
will. I absolutely will. And butterflies, it will be in a post this week. It will.
Yes,
Um,
please.
so I want to like I want this as much as our this space is a safe space for us to talk and for us to share experiences and like share resources and all these things. I also want this to be a community where we hold each other accountable. But in order to hold each other accountable, we got to have like something to hold each other accountable to, right? So we have a call to action for you butterflies in the garden. Your homework. I
I
want
love a good homework assignment too.
okay. Somebody put homework in the chat.
Yes.
um Reflect on your own wellness journey holistically or one aspect. and set intentions that are connected to your desired outcome and options for how you can achieve or reach them. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Reflect on your own wellness journey and set intentions that are connected to your desired outcome and options for how you can achieve or reach them.
Yes.
You can do this. Remember, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. The journey to wholeness is not easy. The journey to knowing yourself or learning yourself and then feeling like, dang, I just got to know myself. We became best buddies. And here I go changing again. Y'all, that's not something that is small. It's not something that's small. I want us to get out of the habit of despising where we are, despising the versions of us that we are experiencing right now. Because I saw on Instagram the other day was like, I've never been this me. And so I'm gonna take a moment, take a season even, and like love her. Even the ugliness of me. Y'all, I'm not perfect. Candace talked about earlier how I got her together in college. I don't even remember that. I don't even remember that. Like what? But there's been moments where she's had to get me together. And she still get me together.
Listen, it's holding each other accountable
It's hold each other accountable.
and
It's
knowing that the journey looks different for everybody. And
yes,
knowing that the journey, when you say journey, it's never ending. So
never.
if you're looking for a quick fix, if you're looking like setting goals, you have, what do you have? Long-term goals, you have short-term goals, right? But know that this wellness is never ending,
That's
because
right.
as you grow and as you evolve and as you change, like it's gonna go up, it's gonna elevate. That picture, whenever I think about Shakira and butterflies, I literally see the picture of the caterpillar talking to the butterfly like, you've changed. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, that's what I'm so
That's what we're supposed to do. It's ever changing. I've watched my friends go from just singlehood to, or childhood to adulthood to womanhood to motherhood to marriage. Like, come on.
yeah.
Everyone are in different stages, right? You
Embrace
know?
yours. Embrace yours. And just know this is a safe space for you too. If you are watching or if you're listening and you're like, but I don't have a safe space, so that means I must be doing something wrong in my journey. I want you to know that the Beauty Beyond the Mirror Candid Conversations is a safe space for you. This is has been such a beautiful, beautiful time. I could not have think of any other way to relaunch my baby. And so I want to tell you in front of everybody, thank you for the seeds that you sow in me. I want to say thank you so much for the push that you give me. And I want you to let the butterflies in the butterfly garden know where they can find you and what they can expect from you coming very soon. Because your sister gonna hold you accountable.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Miss Queency, MZQUEENC. You can find me on Facebook. All of my platforms are open, right? I have nothing to hide. You can find me on Facebook, Candace Patrice Clark, my whole name. You'll see a little bit of everything: church, workouts, wellness. I go out. You can even find me on TikTok. I believe it's Miss Queen C. And what I'm working on is I started writing a book after college when I
Come
moved
on, Arthur.
when I moved to Charlotte. And I initially instilled it, I named it Losing Weight. And it was for the first time when I was going through my workout journey. And then I stopped, right? Because I gained weight back. And I'm like, how can I write a book about losing weight? But this go round, come my birthday, as a gift to myself, which will be Labor Day, September 2nd, 2024, I will be releasing my book called Losing Weight. And the weight is an acronym. I'll give you just a little. You
Just
got
a
the
little bit now,
W.
because they gotta buy the book.
Yes. The W in losing weight is worry. Stop worrying about stuff. You can't control it anyways. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And the E, embarrassment. What you embarrassed for? everybody struggle. Everybody go through something. And the I, that's the last one. Insecurities. We're going to lose those things too. These all, yes, I will share the weight loss part of the journey in that book. But realistically, I'm talking about the whole. And if you notice, we've been talking about wellness because it's the difference between wellness journey and health journey.
Yes.
The difference. So I'm excited.
We are so excited for you. We're so excited for you. Everybody in the chat is like, yes, yes. Go, Candace.
I can't even see the chat. I'm like, I
It's
told myself,
okay.
I was like, oh, I'll pull it up on my other phone. So that way, if there's questions and I'll look over and
I
then
got your
literally
back. I got your back. I got your back.
I'm
So thank you all so much. Thank you again, Candace. Just thank you for joining. Thank you so much for agreeing. Thank you for going through the ebb and flow while I was finding my groove back. And even like praying with me when I felt my emotions rising, like I can't do this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna hide again. I don't want to do it.
Nope.
No, girl.
I got you.
As you said, your gift, you are making the lane or opening the lane for somebody else to walk through it.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna stay in my lane.
Yep. I'm gonna keep holding you accountable.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Butterflies, I want to encourage you all, if you're not following us on social media, follow this page. Follow the Instagram page, The Beauty Beyond the Mirror. Follow our YouTube page, The Beauty Beyond the Mirror. Follow our Facebook page, The Beauty Beyond the Mirror Project. This episode and all future episodes will be available to stream on Spotify for podcasts. We are doing hard things. We are doing hard things, and we're moving forward because God placed things on the inside of us that the world needs to hear and see. If you're listening to this, or if you watch this, or you're tuned in right now, and you feel like, I don't know what my gift is, I don't know what my journey to wellness looks like, I don't know how to even start, I want you to remember one thing that Candace said today. If you don't remember anything else, remember this: start with yourself. If you start with you, love on you, embrace who you are, and celebrate you, everything else will come. Keep moving forward. Don't move forward trying to figure it all out. Don't move forward trying to be like, oh, wait, I can't do the next thing because I don't know what comes after that. Clarity will come as you move. Yes. As you step, clarity will come. So I want to encourage y'all to keep stepping, keep loving, and interact with each other. Y'all were so interactive in this chat today, and I love it.
I got to go back and watch this.
Tap into these posts weekly. Yes. And tap in with each other. I love y'all with the love of God, but he loves you more. Have an amazing start her day and do something for you because you deserve it. Have a good one, y'all.
Bye. Love you guys. Thank you, Kira.
You're welcome, love.